General contractor versus construction manager. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the differences between the two and when those worlds actually come together. So would you like to know the difference and how to approach both and some things to keep in mind? If so, you have come to the right place. Stay with us. So why is this important? Well, for me, it's important because every good team starts out by knowing what they're responsible for. What is their role? And what's an even better word than role is what are they accountable for in the construction project? And the difference between a general contractor and a construction manager are very, very different. However, there are key parts that I'm going to talk about that should be a focus no matter where you land. I do want you to know that I have worked in and around both, and that we at Elevate, we have a company called Lean Built. We are general contractors ourselves. And so I'm going to give you some insight into this, and I hope you enjoy the journey. So first, we're going to talk about a construction manager. Construction managers act as advisors and overseers of the overall construction project. They work closely with the owner all the way from the beginning or anywhere in between in design to the completion of the project to make sure that it has a successful execution. Really, the parameters of a construction manager are to make sure that it stays within budget and to make sure that it stays on schedule. And so you as an owner, let me say it like that, will want a construction manager to help them with design, in many cases to help them with the development of the project, with permitting, with the planning of the project, to organize and really set up any contractors on the site to succeed, and to make sure that the right management systems and key performance indicators are being tracked and that the owner knows when there's a problem so that we can pull the project back in and make sure that it fits within the parameters. The key here to understand, and you're probably going to wonder what the difference between a construction manager is and a general contractor. I'll tell you that in a minute, but most of the time construction managers work off of a fee. It's not a stake in the risk or the finances of the overall construction project. It is a fee to perform the services to make sure the project stays on budget and within schedule. So responsibilities include planning and scheduling, budget management and cost control, coordination with engineers, architects, contractors, and subcontractors, ensuring safety compliance, assuring quality, and communicating with all stakeholders on the project. This construction manager is hired by the owner to help them. Like I said, it's done on a fee, and they may work as a construction management firm or as a consultant. That's really key to understand. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're the general contractor. So let's talk about the general contractor for a minute. The general contractor takes on the role of executing the work on site with the trade partners or subcontractors on site. They are a part of the financial structure. They have a fee that is most of the time tied to the success of the project, and they own the risk. Let me pause here for just a second. And I think that this is brilliant. So the main contract types that you hear about are IPD, obviously, design, bid, build, right? Where you can segregate everybody. But what I love, there is an in between. It's called CM at risk, the construction manager at risk. So technically, a construction manager can start in design. Okay, so check this out. This is really cool. Probably cool enough to where you should like and subscribe to this video. But CM at risk, or CMAR, is where you are the construction manager. So you're helping the owner to manage all of these parts and pieces early on in design, and to the end of pre-construction, coming up with a good proposal that establishes a guaranteed maximum price. If this is accepted, there are some nuances here where I don't want to get myself in trouble, but the construction manager essentially becomes at that point the general contractor. So that is the construction manager once they reach a GMP for the design at risk now to build the project. So I love that. That is the best of both worlds. I really don't like the idea personally. If you ask, did you ask? Okay, perfect. I'll give you my answer. I don't like the idea of a construction manager without skin in the game. And I don't like a disconnected general contractor that wasn't part of the design and planning, because it's immoral and unethical, in my opinion, to hold somebody accountable for a project that they did not plan. So I'm not being critical. There's lots of CMs out there. There's lots of GCs out there. But from a historical standpoint, it does not work well to just chuck a design over the wall at a general contractor and expect them to own the risk. It doesn't work well if they didn't plan the project. And it doesn't work well to just have a CM overseeing the overall project, even if there is a separate general contractor, when they don't have skin in the game. I like merging the best of those two worlds. So the general contractor is responsible for building that project, and they own that risk. And I will say one thing here. I've talked about it before, but the Spear Gap is based on a legal precedent where there was a ruling that said designers are only responsible to design according to normal standards of care, and general contractors are only required to build what's on the plans. So if there's something that wasn't on the plans that the GC is not required to build, that gap and paying for that is on the owner. So in a design bid build project, that owner has a lot of risk. In a CM at risk environment, that spearing gap narrows because the general contractor obviously had knowledge of the design and helped plan the project. In design build, it almost entirely goes away. In IPD, it goes away. And so I want you to understand that having people segregated means more risk for the owner, and specifically financial risk. So I keep diverting. Let me get back to the general contractor thing. Let me stay focused. So they're hired to complete the project based on the plans and specs. They manage the day-to-day of the entire construction project. And their responsibilities are hiring subcontractors, procuring materials and equipment, ensuring construction adheres to the plans and specs, managing the construction schedule to make sure that there's a timely completion. So managing it, addressing issues that arise during construction and removing those roadblocks and clearing the path, and ensuring compliance with building codes and safety, and specifically when it comes to building codes from a quality standpoint. The GC is usually hired by the project owner or the developer, and they may work as independent contractors or as a part of the construction company that's providing this service. GCs typically work under a lump sum contract, a cost plus contract, or a guaranteed maximum price. Either way, they are incentivized from a financial and a risk standpoint to manage the project properly, especially if there are financial incentives. So if you want to understand the main difference is CMs are on a fee working for the owner. General contractors are signed up to build that project, and they own the risk, and they are part of the financial structure, and they are there to get the project done. And another way that I like to look at it is the general contractor is the builder. They're going to build it, and the CM is the administrator. They're going to do administrative tasks. And if you know anything about me, the less that we can go into administrative tasks, worthless positions, worthless reports, worthless KPIs, and really get into the building and preventing aspect of things, we are going to be better off. Now, you have to have a knowledgeable general contractor. I have nothing against CMs. I'm just saying, oh, let me give you this. This is super huge. This is the second reason to like and comment on this video. Is the key thing is whoever's running the project has got to plan it. Whoever's running the project has got to bring all interests together, and whoever is going to build the project has got to have skin in the game. So however you organize it, whether it's a CM or a GC or a CM at risk, which I really love, make sure that you have all of those components. And like I said before, on larger projects, you may have a CM and a general contractor both involved, and if you do so, they must get along, not be at cross purposes, and don't include the 8th and 9th waste in construction, which is a lack of team engagement and a lack of team alignment. And one last thing, I've got to get this in here. This is super important. I love general contractors that do self-perform work, and I'll just quickly tell you, general contractors that do self-perform are even more of a builder, and these are the benefits. You have a greater control over quality, more cost efficiency, more schedule flexibility, enhanced expertise, especially as a builder. There's a better opportunity to manage your risks and to help solve problems on site. You have a competitive advantage. You have more knowledgeable builders inside the organization. You can be much more profitable. I mean, that is huge. It provides more reliability on the project site because you have your own folks and your own crews. Improved coordination because you're doing a lot of the pre-planning and pre-kitting and prefabrication, and it can be a client benefit. So not only do I love construction managers at risk that become a general contractor, but I love general contractors that do their own self-performed work and they're builders. I absolutely love it. So we're going to summarize all of this for you in the description below in a blog post so that you can take this, implement it, and hopefully for your owners, decide how you're going to structure your project. But if you ever need help, please reach out to us and let us know. We have resources and we can help you at any time. On we go.